To many, it seems like the internet is a chaotic digital space not controlled by anyone. But in actuality, the modern digital space is a formed hierarchy where any user can be identified in the blink of an eye. Yes, Big Brother is watching you. But each rule has an exception, right? And this is the dark web. It is there that you can even acquire the safety codes of an airport for $10, or a listening device the size of a peppercorn. But getting there is not that easy. You'll need a special software which is paid for using only bitcoins. This is why it's so hard to identify the site owners who sell the banned things. One of the most unbelievable and at the same time scary purchases you can make in the depths of the internet is Uranus. Oops, no, we didn't mean the gas giant in the solar system, but the radioactive element uranium, which is used to produce nuclear bombs. You've probably gathered that it's very dangerous, and it's sold on the dark web in such quantities that you can pretty much build an atom bomb. Of course, we're joking. For this, you would need up to 110 pounds of uranium. In order to achieve this critical mass, you need millions of dollars, and to transport it, 21 containers and 5 planes. Maybe an even more dangerous package from the dark web could be the shipment of various viruses and bacteria. For example, any conscienceless website user can easily order themselves, say, a test tube with Mycobacterium tuberculosis, which causes tuberculosis. The assortment which can be found is at the same time frightening and mesmerizing. Everything can be purchased, starting from harmless bacteria for aquariums and finishing with such dangerous organisms like smallpox, anthrax, AIDS, and even the Ebola virus. One click and a small sealed test tube will await you at the post office or another agreed upon location the very next day. It's unknown who would want such a product and why. It's doubtful that among your acquaintances there are many amateur scientists who conduct experiments with microorganisms, especially with those banned by the law. We are left to only hope for the negligence of the sellers of such products, as the majority of viruses and bacteria, though not all, die quite quickly in an unsuitable environment. In the worst case, the happy owner of such a package can, at a minimum, cause harm to those nearby. The vast majority of products on the dark web consist of illegal substances. According to data, approximately 70% of all goods and services are part of this category. You can find everything, from thorough guides for the making of illegal substances to already prepared products. Searching thoroughly through the internet, you will easily find instructions and video classes, many of which are free, where they explain every step. But do not dare try to do so, as it is punishable by law. One of the most astonishing services that you can find in this section is the sale of chemical sets and even entire laboratories, where you can make anything you want. You can acquire this set with no difficulty, starting from just $400. In just a few days, it'll be by your door waiting for you. The only thing you'll need is an A+ in chemistry and a vehement desire. But we strongly recommend you not attempt dangerous experiments yourself. Well, an ordinary and useful object such as a 3D printer obtained an unusual use in the dark web. You would think, what could be illegal in the printing of volumetric objects? But see, this printer is used for the printing of everything you can imagine, from spinners to actual weapons. A few minutes after entering the dark net, it becomes obvious that you can buy a newly made Glock for just $600, while the ammunition for it costs $60. Not that long ago, a story about a 19-year-old British teenager appeared on the internet. He planned to do some shopping through the dark net. Kyle Davis, that's the young man's name, pressing the mouse button a few times, ordered dangerous things made using a 3D printer. But they're often not high quality and can even blow up in your hands. Of course, it wasn't that simple. The guy was tracked down by the police, and now he will have serious problems. But more than anything, even in the ordinary internet, the selling of information is valued. It's not for nothing that it's said, who controls information controls the world. The dark net is so rife with it that feel free to even remove some of it. Spending some time cruising through its vastness, you will easily find ads offering to sell strangers' bank accounts. The price of such a purchase is not even high, around $10. For this money, you'll receive access to someone else's account. Next depends on just how lucky you are. It can end up being empty or with lots of money saved up in it. On the internet, you can often find stories about people who decided to explore this mysterious part of the internet for fun, but ended up practically finding a full biography filled with facts about themselves which they didn't even know about themselves. Other than documents, you can also discover many interesting things, like hacked email accounts and accounts from various websites and social media platforms. You can spend just a few dollars and gain access to a person's most intimate secrets. Well, for a few hundred, someone will collect all needed information about the person who interests you. Who knows, maybe right now someone is spying on you. Of course, if you can find information about bank accounts and the passwords to access any account, then it won't be any problem to purchase forged documents, as this is the thing that each person should have. And if such a thing like a passport can be attained and as easily replaced in case you lose it, then some documents are not available at all. The choice is definitely wide and varied. The price depends on many factors, like the quality of the forgery, the type of document, and much else. Just imagine, you can buy practically anything. Insurance policies, medical books, a driver's license, military ID cards, birth certificates, and a lot more. If a few days ago you had your license taken away because you didn't fully recover from the visit to the bar the day prior, or you urgently need to get a passport, or even change your citizenship, then for a sum of money, you can easily solve the problem. According to document sellers, for $2,000, you can obtain a real British passport with ease. The forgeries would cost many times less, though such black market sellers are constantly being tracked down by police, which means that receiving such documents, you risk your freedom. Well, who wants to spend the rest of their days in prison because of a forged driver's license? In this case, special attention should be brought to diplomas, the document regarding higher education. To receive it, many spend many years and even more effort and money, and it's also not available to each person. But what if you're a self-taught genius who learned everything without the help of an educational institution, but no one offers you work anyway? Even in this case, the sellers on the internet have a solution for you. And not just one. For just $450, you can easily obtain a diploma from Cambridge, which would be hard to distinguish from an original. If we were to judge the situation, then it's definitely worth it, considering the cost of each year of education at such an institution is £20,000 on average. If you don't have enough money, then the sellers from the dark web will rush to assist you. For just a couple $100, you can buy a special device to break into ATMs. You may have seen a similar one in the movie Terminator. The small set uses a USB cable to connect to the ATM, and after some operations, it gives you all the cash located inside. The only problem is that different ATM models may require different software. Well, if you're too lazy to figure out the complicated setup and instructions of this device, then you can just buy ready-made money, though fake. But the sellers assure you that their product isn't in any way inferior to actual money. In addition, you can acquire local currency from local sellers on the dark web, and you won't need to bother with any ATMs or software. It seems that the assortment in this not-so-legal part of the internet is without any limits. Probably very few people with developed imaginations could think of what's impossible to buy in the depths of the internet. One of the most extravagant and no less frightening purchases is the horn of a black rhino. This thing is sold for a fantastic sum of $300,000. The black rhino, like all other rhinos, became the victim of an absurd, baseless superstition regarding the miraculous power of its horn. In the 70s, the horn of a black rhino was a necessary item for any self-respecting rich Arab. Nowadays, this trend, thankfully, has become less accepted. But nevertheless, a horn remains an extremely popular method of healing in some Asian countries. Though the horn of an African black rhino is cheaper than that of an Asian rhino on the black market, the price is still so high that the battle against illegal shootings of them is very difficult. Due to the dark web, you can easily order one, and the poacher won't be stopped even by the fact that these animals are located in nature reserves and are well protected. All the while, the population of these animals is quickly falling, and today is only at around 3,500. Poor animals, we wish they'd finally be left alone. As you noticed, the dark web is a place where there are no rules or laws. You can buy and sell anything, while the seller's user data will be carefully encrypted. Many are sure they won't be punished for it. But is this the case? International law enforcement is actively combating the dark web and the platforms inside of it, and they do sometimes successfully discover and close them. For example, the police successfully closed the black market Evolution, the users of which lost 11 million euros. So these businesses do have risks, and we hope in the near future there will be less and less of such black markets. The main reason why people go into the dark web is total anonymity. Even you can download a special program and take a peek inside. It isn't at all punishable as long as you stay within the framework of the law. We've told you about far from everything that can be found in the dark net, but only about the most interesting and eerie things. But still, contrary to popular belief, it's not only anarchy thriving in the depths of the internet, and not all sites are engaged in illicit activities. Other than all the aforementioned, you can also find many useful things, like a database of scholarly articles, or our educational channel, which will teach you only good things. Have you ever experienced the dark web? Don't forget to write about your experiences in the comments below. Saying this, I think it's time for us to say goodbye. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up if you learned something new in this video. Also, do subscribe to the channel to not miss the next video. Till next time.